And go.
All right. Well, let's we'll pretend there's some theme music here, Sean. When we go, but there it is.
While we bust.
All right. Hello, everyone. The Windy City Ghostbusters are excited to present the preeminent show focused on the charitable side of ghostbusting and the incredible people that lug around 30-pound magic backpacks in public, all in the name of putting smiles on faces and helping people. I am your host, Patrick Calvert, and joining me, as usual, is the central nervous system to the Windy City Ghostbusters, ensuring we're broadcasting loud and clear over Twitch and Facebook, YouTube. It's James Norman, everybody. Hey, James,
Hi,
how are
everybody.
you?
Hi, I'm doing all right. It's been a rough week. Been dealing with a sick kitty. So,
Oh no.
Yeah. Annabelle's not been feeling great, but she seems to be doing a little bit better. She's having senior cat problems. So
Well, I'm sorry to hear
comes
that.
with the territory.
It is. That's always tough when they can't be telling you exactly how they're feeling.
Nope.
On that stuff. So our thoughts are with Annabelle there, but it's good to see you, James, and glad your computer is back up and running as well this week.
Yep.
Some fun last week here. And our guest today, everybody, is Sean McFadden from the Circle City Ghostbusters. Sean, welcome to the show today. And Sean is going to be our main event interview for the day. But real quick before we hop in on things, I want to give some updates on what the Windy City Ghostbusters have coming up. And Sean, if you have a few things off the top of your mind for Circle City, we want to make sure we're giving those plugs up front. And so as I mentioned last week, Windy City Ghostbusters, they are back in the Chicago Thanksgiving Day Parade. That's going to be on November 28th. We will be at the St. Charles Electric Christmas Parade on November 30th. That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. The Blue Island Christmas Parade is December 7th, and the Windy City Ghostbusters will be representing themselves there. And on that same day, we will be at Rocket Pro Wrestling working on bringing some attention to our toy drive. And James, can you refresh me? What are the rules do you know off the top of your head the rules for Rocket Pro? Is it bring a gift? Do you get anything, or what
I'm not sure if they're doing a raffle this year. Last year they did a raffle. If you brought a toy, you got a raffle ticket for something. I do believe that Steve Michaels is offering a merch package.
Okay.
So I think that might be what's going on. And also, don't forget, if you come to Rocket Pro Wrestling that day, they're also going to have the recent phenomenon Joe Henry. So if you say his name, he does appear.
I have unplugged myself a lot from independent wrestling lately, but even I have heard of him. So that's exciting and a fun get for that day.
Yeah, I'm not even a wrestling fan, and I know about Joe Henry very well.
So that's exciting. And before December 7th arrives for next week, I'll make sure I dot the I's, cross the T's, and know exactly how that will work, and if there's any extra perks for folks that might bring a toy to the Rocket Pro Wrestling Show on December 7th. And then, as Bob announced last week, there is going to be a Christmas brunch at Wonderverse that will also be the Windy City Ghostbusters will also be collecting for the toy drive at that event as well, and that is at the Wonderverse in Oakbrook Center. Come, delicious food and also plenty of fun for Ghostbuster fans and pretty much the whole Sony, the entire kind of Sony intellectual property there, from Zombieland to Bad Boys. But Ghostbusters has those really great virtual reality games and the Ghost Trap, which you have, even if you're not getting a drink, you got to walk through it every time you go. But that kind of is the year end for Windy City. Sean, do you have anything you want to make sure you plug real quick for Circle City?
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, this Saturday, we're going to be at the Shops at Perry Crossing tree lighting and parade. We're going to be in the parade, and we're going to be having our Ecto 1D in the parade as well. On December 7th, we're going to be in the Christmas Wanamaker Parade, which is down south of the city. And on Saturday, December 14th, we're going to have a Ghostbuster Trivia Nights at Faraday Toys in Indianapolis. And that's it for events, but we are taking toy donations at all Rise and Roll bakeries. Most of them here, actually all of them, yes, in the city. Also, all the Regal cinemas. We're going to be sending out boxes to collect toys for the Indianapolis Boys and Girls Club.
That is great. That is great to see, and some good partnerships that you've made there to help out on that toy drive. So we'll touch on that a little bit later in the show, and again at the end, just to make sure everybody remembers where to find you. But I'm going to try something new. We'll see how it goes for the show today. Before we dive in, Sean, and you're welcome to chime in, at any part here as well. But I want to try some, this week in Ghostbusters history. So there's plenty of Ghostbusters news presented on podcasts and different Ghostbusters themed broadcasts. But I want to make sure we're covering the history of what's gone on this particular week. So the week of November, what is today? The 18th, the week of November 17th here. What's happened in the history of Ghostbusters, and as of tomorrow, Afterlife was released November 19th, 2020. Ghostbusters Afterlife was released after many starts and stops. The pandemic slowed it down, but it made it there, and it grossed more than $200 million in a post-pandemic box office. That was pretty impressive. My first kind of public outing was to go see that in a theater. So I have fond memories of going to see that in the theater, and I'm sure James and Sean, you do as well. But let's see, where else we got? November 18th, 2015. A bit of a downer, Michael Gross. He passed away. You may know him as the gentleman who created the finalized look of the Ghostbusters Moogly. He passed away at the age of 70 on November 18th, 2015. And also, this is a bummer of a week, November 17th, 2022. Kimberly Herron passed away. She was the Dream Ghost in Ghostbusters. So the cast member I found out about 15 years after I first started watching Ghostbusters, as I always was watching the TV edit, and she was edited out of that until I was in high school and finally bought the actual version of the official version of Ghostbusters. But she was also in another, one of my all-time favorites, Roadhouse. She was also in Romancing the Stone in Beverly Hills Cop 2. So she really made an impact on some quality 80s cinema there. And again, she passed away on the 17th of 2022. On November 20th, 2023, news of Sony's Wonderverse in Oakbrook actually broke and started to hit the airwaves. Lots of press releases around that. And everyone in the Chicago area may remember that's when the Ecto One New Jersey parked itself out front to start hyping up the opening of Wonderverse. It started parking itself there a little bit after Thanksgiving, early December.
Yeah.
But that was an exciting time for everybody in the Chicago area. And November 23rd, 1988. Does anybody know what happened November 23rd, 1988? No, Scrooged was released. Bill Murray's big comeback movie after taking a post-Ghostbusters hiatus. It was released on November 23rd, 1988, and had a worldwide box office of over $100 million, which was a pretty nice haul for a movie in 1988. And then also November 23rd, 2005, director Harold Ramis released The Ice Harvest, kind of a black comedy starring John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton.
I love that movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it. And actually, Violet Ramis in her book wrote a little bit about that movie as well. So it's on my list. James, have you seen it?
So Sean, it's one of the few I haven't seen.
What's your pitch, Sean, for all of us to go out? Because I think it takes place over the holidays, too.
It is, yeah. It's a couple of bank robbers trying to get away, and it's kind of one of those classic crash their car and stuck in a town sort of thing. You can tell that there's some of the Harold Ramis quirkiness within the movie. You see it through John Cusack, and it's just, My cat just came out of the closet. Sorry, it distracted me. I saw a black figure out of the side, freaked me out. And then
nearly grabbed your gear.
It's a great movie. It's a holiday classic too, I would say.
It's on my list. I am going to try and make a point to go see that. And I believe Bill Murray was originally pitched one of the lead roles in that, and obviously didn't take it, but that would have been interesting. I'm not sure who came first, pitching Bill Murray or Harold Ramis, because I don't know if they were ready to work with each other at that point. But that was a little tidbit I pulled out while I was doing some research. So it's not a quiet week as far as history with Ghostbusters, but so a lot happening with this week in Ghostbusters history. So thank you everyone for bearing with me while I experimented with with that a little. But there's
no. Oh, wait, that's ESPN. Sorry, wrong jingle.
No, now we're
that's
Sports
Center, right? Yeah.
Sorry,
but that's all right. We do need a soundboard just to
we'll build it
throw
to
in some
Circle
drops
City. It's
in.
fine.
So without any further ado, that does bring us kind of to our main event, and I want to put my phone on silent and apologize to everybody how unprofessional of me. But I would like to introduce officially Sean McFadden from the Circle City Ghostbusters. And Sean, you're soon to be president of Circle City. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. January 1, I'll be kicking Mr. Jacob Bartlett out of the seat and taking it. And big shoes to fill. I'm a little nervous.
Now, I'm sure Mr. Bartlett will not be far away if you need to ask a few favors.
He already told me he's retired. He's done. He's going to the Bahamas.
He knows that doesn't work, right?
He's pushing me right into the deep end. I'm just kidding.
Bob has been trying to retire now for as long as I've been with the Windy City Ghostbusters, and I think it's obviously has not been successful as of yet.
Nope. Every time he does, we add 5 years.
It took me a little while to figure out exactly what everybody was doing or what everybody was saying when I first started. But it's well, congratulations to you on that. And so what does, and I guess this would be a good point. What exactly could you kind of introduce us to the Circle City Ghostbusters? How long has it been around? And as president, what are you looking to accomplish or build upon?
Yeah, absolutely. 2024 is our official 10-year anniversary as the Circle City Ghostbusters. Prior to that, it was the Indiana Ghostbusters and some other names I wasn't aware of, and became a merger. And so been around for 10 years. One of the few in the United States as a registered 501c3. So charity is the name of the game. And I'm looking to beat how much we raise for charity this year. I just want to keep building upon and just making us greater and greater, so that way we can have more of an outreach. And I've got some plans in the works that I'm hoping will come to fruition.
Perfect. Well, good luck to you there, and you always have a place here at the Why We Bust show if you would like to talk about any of the initiatives that you have kind of under wraps at the moment. But when they're ready for the light of day, let us know. And so, Sean, I can see you have a bit of a collection behind you. I'd say it's just you are a Ghostbusters fan.
That's what they tell me.
What's your history there? What do you go back and talk about what brought you to the level of kind of fandom you have today?
Well, probably like most of us who are in our 40-ish year of age. I'm almost 42, so I was born in '83. Obviously came out in '84. As was I. Yeah, and I don't remember seeing the original prior to the real Ghostbusters. Like if I try to think back to my original memory, it's the real Ghostbusters. But I'm sure my parents showed me the movie and just obsessed with the car and the equipment. And So I was lucky that my parents got me a lot of the toys as a kid, and every Saturday morning I'd eat my cereal, and then have my Ecto-1 and just play out the scene. And I guess I've never really grown up from then, and I just keep collecting toys.
Well, and first of all, it's fun to know that there were other kids doing the exact same thing as me, as a fellow 1983 child. I've had that similar question, and I've talked about it here before. My parents do not recall. I know that I, at 3 years old, got the vinyl soundtrack to Ghostbusters. So I was a fan somewhere in 1986. So probably right after the cartoon came out. But yeah, I've always tried to remember what came first. But I mean, the cartoon was just impossible to avoid at that time, and I was hooked there. And you're talking about all not stopping the toy collecting. We had to sit through such a long void without anything. It was, if you saw any Ghostbusters, merchandise, I had to get it. I think just the other day I was at my parents' house and I found from like 2003, a Slimer bobblehead that's never been taken out of the box. I never had a place for it and never really thought about it again, but I had to buy it because it was something Ghostbusters at a time when there really wasn't that much around. So it's been a fun time to be a fan.
Oh yeah, it's been devastating for my wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's experience.
I haven't broken the news to my wife with the latest Ecto HasLab.
Yeah,
it's not the conversation I feel like having. Yeah.
I gotta have one of each displayed. I don't know where I'm gonna put them. But...
Well, that's the thing. That's almost 5 feet of Ecto that you're trying to display there. That's a lot of valuable shelf space. But and Jacob, yes, it was the NECA's bobblehead. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
NECA. But yeah, Jacob asked if that was the specific bobblehead, and yes, it is. And it's sitting in a closet. So I still don't have any place to display it. But so Sean, kind of what brought you from just being a Ghostbusters fan to being someone that will put together an entire uniform and has replica props? Like, talk about that process for you. And you even have an Ecto. Like, what brings you from just collecting to being a Ghostbuster?
Well, I had a long period of time where I wasn't doing anything Ghostbuster related because I started having children when I was 19. So
a little busy.
Wasn't and trying to make it on my own, didn't really have any money. So, I wasn't concerned about anything besides working and taking care of kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then once, kind of made something of myself, kids got a little bit older. And then one year, they knew I was a Ghostbuster fan, as we watched it all the time. And then one year, one of my kids asked me if I would dress up with them, and I was like, "Well, sure. What do you want me to be?" And they said, "You should be a Ghostbuster because you love Ghostbusters." And my very first costume, which I still have in the closet, is the cheesy Spirit with the blow-up pack.
Mm-hmm.
And went from there, and so many iterations. As I'm sure you all do, and luckily I've been able to continue on with it.
That's awesome, and that Spirit stuff really, it was so great to start seeing that come out, and there's finally something to do where you aren't having to piece together everything, finding an old Rothko and then rolling the dice on who's selling a patch on eBay somewhere, like I know I had to do when I was a Ghostbuster, and I think I was like Halloween 2008, somewhere around there. I had to really dig to find a halfway decent costume. So I'm glad you got that. And so what first brought the Circle City Ghostbusters to your attention?
Well, I think it was probably algorithms on Facebook looking for Ghostbuster costumes at Halloween. And it suggested this group called Circle City Ghostbusters. And I was like, what the heck is this? And so I checked them out. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I had a couple kids and going to college at the time, and I saw that they were doing these things. I'm like, well, if I ever get to this point, I'll join. And so just followed them for years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally was able to join, and then we had COVID.
Oh, yeah. Fun time. So did you get, how far along were you into your tenure with Circle City before COVID hit?
I joined in October of 2019.
Okay.
So I did about 3 events before everything got shut down.
Mm-hmm.
But we still did some build nights until we shut that down. And
Gotcha.
My first actual event with the Circle City Ghostbusters was a build night. And if other people watching aren't familiar, our wonderful originator of the Circle City Ghostbusters, Nick Farnsworth, holds a build night most Saturdays where those of us who don't know what we're doing building this equipment, we can bring our stuff over and he helps us build it. And it's incredible. So that's where I started out. Was I bought the first 80% sized spirit pack and just modded the heck out of it, and that's all I could have at the time until I got a Ben Kent.
Oh, did you get the Ben Kent? I have their trap kit. It was a lot of fun to put together.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
A little heavy.
Yeah, it's about 35 pounds.
Yikes. Okay. So yeah, you're feeling it. You're feeling it on there. A little heavier than the HasLab that I lug around. Now James hosts build nights for the Windy City Ghostbusters from time to time. I've been meaning to get out there. I've got a couple lingering little projects that I need a little assistance with, but but when we open that back up next year, James, I'll be doing what I can to get over there.
Sounds good.
And now, Sean, you have graduated, as you mentioned with the Ben Kent, you graduated beyond just the Spirit jumpsuit. You had a pretty cool, in our advertising picture, you've got a pretty cool charcoal. Is that an old Gibson and Barnes? Did you dye that one yourself? Is that a Magnolia? What's
Magnolia.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
You and I both have that Magnolia charcoal. I was glad to see it. I saw those brass zippers, and I said, he either painted those up himself or that's a Magnolia. So,
yeah, but I will warn everybody: have somebody else measure you, because I've gained a little weight since I bought that, and I can't get into it anymore.
Oh no!
It was tight when I got it.
Yeah, I thought I mismeasured my first Magnolia suit, and it was a little tight, but it did the trick. And so I based my next. I bought the khaki, and then I got the charcoal after that. And I based my charcoal measurements off of, adding a few inches to the original, but they had messed up the measurements on the original. So so when I added a couple inches, I got my suit, and I was just swimming in this thing because the legs were probably about 6 inches longer than they need to be, and the arms were a little long. So I've been trying to find somebody that's about 6'5", 6'6", and
I'm 6'7".
Oh, are you?
Yeah, that's why I ordered from them, because I just can't find a flight suit gives me enough room.
Yeah, you're not gonna find that off the shelf. But I think you would be pushing it on mine at 6'7". But oh, hey Bob.
What's up, Bob?
I have been silenced in chat, and I refuse to be silenced anymore. Norm is not acknowledging my comments in Twitch, so I came in here just for a fast thing. Sean McFadden, I am laying down a gauntlet challenge on you.
Uh-oh.
I will donate $15 to a charity of your guys' choosing at Circle City Ghostbusters if you wear your first cheesy Ghostbusters uniform to an event as president.
First cheesy Ghostbusters uniform to an event.
First as president, your first a big event as a president, you have to wear your cheesy suit. And I challenge everybody in chat to match my donation to the Circle City Ghostbusters Sean McFadden dress up challenge.
I will back that challenge as well.
So that's $30. And chat, I'm being 100% serious, everybody. I didn't want to hijack this show, But Norm was silencing me.
What do we have in January? Let me see. You know what? I accept.
Okay, folks, chime in the chat. I'm betting. So you got $30 out of the two of us right here.
Woohoo.
To make sure.
Donations.
Yes, absolutely. And you guys could determine whatever charity that'll be. I'm going to bounce out now. This is Patrick and Norm's show. I refuse to be silenced.
Well, it's always good to see your face, Bob.
Yes, Bob.
Absolutely. Have a good one, folks.
All right. Thank you, Bob. And see, here we are creating new ways to raise money here at the Why We Bust show. And,
I love it.
And welcome back, James.
Hey, yeah, I'm back.
Got a little scared there for a second, but I didn't even know it was possible to hijack our show until just now. But so you mentioned you've modded out that 80% spirit. Do you have a name for it? Apparently, within the Windy City Ghostbusters, I've been finding out, having a name for your proton pack is a big deal.
It's important.
I have now passed it down to my son, who does events with me, and I have stripped it and rebuilt it 4 times since I've owned it. So that one is called Pain in My Ass.
That works.
And one of his last events, second to last event, totally not his fault. Could happen, has happened to all of us probably. His wand loom got caught and just ripped the electronics out. And I don't know what I'm going to do to fix it.
It's always a heart-dropping moment. You feel a snag at any point there. But, well, that's unfortunate news, but I trust it's in good hands to at least find a way to make it whole again. But so, as you've now come out of COVID, you've taken, a leadership. Oh, here we go. I've got my Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
Got my Halloween Horror Nights mug.
Oh, that's
beverage.
Exciting.
Pepsi Zero.
Well done. I'll need a on-theme koozie or something for myself here. And I have for next week, a little teaser. I have a special drink I've been saving just for next week's show as we get close to Thanksgiving.
We have another special guest. She came out of the closet again.
Oh, hey. And what's her name?
This is Rita.
Rita.
Hi,
She's
Rita.
named after Dexter's wife in the show Dexter.
Yes.
We love horror at this house. All right. Are you mad? Are you mad? No, she's mad.
I like to pretend the Dexter ended after season 4.
Yeah.
But it's it was a big deal show in our house as well. So we were before the hydrate. We were I'm trying to remember what my question was. But I guess coming out of COVID, you're ready to start firing on all cylinders. Any particular events or moments that really kind of sealed the deal that you're going to be a member of Circle City, or you're going to be a Ghostbuster for the long haul?
Yeah, I think if I recall, we did have Indie Comic-Con or PopCon in 2020. And so it was that was the first time ever in my life I'd ever been into any PopCon or Comic-Con or any con in my life. And so, so it was kind of that experience of seeing all that for the first time, along with working the booth and seeing how much people open up their wallets when you say it's for a charity. And we're not just some sideshow trying to collect money to pay for our own equipment.
Right.
We're actually asking for money to give to people in need. So that's what hooked me before I actually joined was I'd always wanted to find a way to give back. So this is, like all of us, it's a perfect way to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm with you. I had never been to any of those until we do our big event is Fan Expo here in Chicago. And so I was not someone that was into cosplay. I've never been to any of those conventions. So it I think that was maybe my third event, somewhere along lines there. So it was early in my run with Windy City.
Yeah, my
pretty
kids
exciting.
make fun of me because they'd always ask me to take them to a convention, and I'm always like, no, we're never going to anything like that. And now, I don't know how many we go to a year now. I mean, I'll never go to one as a fan.
As a civilian?
Yeah, as a civilian.
They're starting to wonder if you're dressing up as something that isn't Ghostbusters because you won't take them because you're just a brony in hiding.
Yeah.
But so that's awesome, and those events are fantastic. Just as the foot traffic that you get and the chance to meet tons of people and people that are willing to really geek out over everything is a lot of fun. I think what kind of sealed my enjoyment when I went to my first fan expo was somebody literally stood there and had a 3-minute conversation just about the rubber gloves that the Ghostbusters use. You just find those people that have like.
Oh yeah, dude, I've had so many obscure conversations. It's like they get obsessed with this little piece of equipment or this, and like, those are fun because you can choose to either go in character and or you can just be like, yes, this is how I made it myself, and so either way is fun. But I love those conversations.
Absolutely. And I have to pause as there's a rule I have, and James, you know this now. I have to recognize anytime the movie What About Bob is referenced, and it was referenced in the chat, and that's one of my favorites. And if anyone has
that is a great movie.
It is.
If you have not seen What About Bob, please go out of your way. I gave that away as a white elephant gift at an office party years ago, and was so ashamed that no one had seen that movie. Although most of the people there were, not even born when What About Bob was in the theaters, but it was still disappointing. But it's definitely an annual watcher in the Calvert house. So you mentioned a little bit about your kids teasing you a little bit with the cons. Is your family generally supportive? How do they view what you do as a Ghostbuster?
Yeah, my kids love it. My son, he loves doing events with me. My daughter, I've never gotten a flight suit or anything, but she's into all the other anime stuff and other stuff. So like any con is always fun for her to come to, and I brought her, and it's a lot of fun. And my wife, bless her heart, she puts up with me going to way too many events year round. And unfortunately, it's only going to get worse becoming the president. I'm going to feel that need to have to be at every single one.
Yeah, you need that. You need that time open to really commit there. But well, that's exciting. I'm glad your family knows it. I know my wife is very supportive. My daughter is just turned 3, so she doesn't know exactly what I'm doing. But I think the rest of my family doesn't quite understand it, so nobody really talks about it much. Yeah. They just acknowledge, but there's no real probing questions to try and understand it at any deep level. But I know my dad is very supportive. I think he watches these, so if my dad is watching live or on a replay, hello. But as you have grown to become comfortable as a Ghostbuster, has there been anything that's surprised you with the experience?
The surprise, I would have to say, I mean, the amount of money that we've been able to raise, we've raised almost $20,000 this year, which is already, I mean, I don't think we're going to pull any more this year, but that's already about 7 more than last year. And like we had an event at the end of October, Irvington Fall Festival, Halloween Festival, and people were just so awesome there. And when you say we're raising money for the Day Spring Center, which is one of our main ones we raise money for, they're like, "Oh, what is that?" You get into a little conversation, and some other people over here, and instead of paying $1 for a spin, they're like, "Here, here's $20. I'll take 3 spins."
Oh, awesome.
And stuff like that is just, it's amazing.
And it sounds like, getting into the nitty gritty, but that's, what the show is about. Is there any single change that you made this year that helped contribute to such a major uptick in donations?
I would have to say, honestly, my car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have a few in our fleet, but I've been able to leave it at a con for a whole weekend, and I was able to get bum rides from people to and from. But that helps bring people in when I get to hit the siren in the middle of the convention center. It doesn't make anybody happy unless you like to hear it. But I don't.
Well, talk about the Ecto. It's a big step from wearing a Spirit Halloween jumpsuit to being someone that also owns an Ecto. Can you tell us a little bit about the car and what the process was?
Yeah, so I originally made one out of my lifted black Jeep Wrangler, just because we kind of needed one at that time. We originally had one which was kind of out of service due to damage. So we're like, well, shoot, we need one. I'm like, well, I could probably build one in a weekend. Like, it's not it wasn't the greatest thing in the world. It wasn't pretty, but I did the best I could, and bada bing, bada boom. And then I decided I wanted to get rid of the Jeep, and then I only looked at white cars and white SUVs that had a roof rack because I knew it had to be the Ecto.
Yeah.
And so I found a 2020 Land Rover Discovery that was white. People kind of think I'm crazy. I turned a Land Rover into an Ecto, but
we got to be a little crazy to be a Ghostbuster.
Exactly, but it's all removable. It's my daily driver. I throw everything on for an event, take it all off when it's over. And another one of the guys, Jeff Himes, he had, I like to say, the original. His is phenomenal. His is together like 100%. So he's like built it into the car. It's just like 1,000 times more impressive than mine. But because we've gotten more popular this year, it's really worked out having two, so that way we can kind of make sure we have a car at every event.
That's awesome. And that's a slippery slope that I'm afraid to start going down until I have my daughter's college stuff squared away.
Yeah, I was told before I started building it, they said, before you start building it, imagine lighting a $100 bill on fire and being okay with it. Now, I'm not saying I'm okay with it, because I'm not, but I understood the risk in the mission.
Yeah. But as you said, it is drawing eyeballs on what you're doing and helping increase the success that Circle City has seen this past year.
And it also makes me feel as giddy as a little kid driving around and hitting the siren, because yeah, I like to hit the siren when I drive around the city, and knock on wood, I haven't been pulled over yet for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a kid, like, the car was the number one thing for me. Like, if I was to pinpoint a moment in Ghostbusters, everything that just fills me with joy every single time I see it is the beginning, the first call. We got one, and the garage raises up. It's, they speed it up, rolling around. And I think that's the scene that made me fall in love with the Ghostbusters. And now being able to have an Ecto is incredible. And we've done some filming with it. And I was able to scream out of a firehouse during one of our filming and flip around real quick. And I had something fly out of my car. And we are just paralleling as childhood Ghostbuster fans, because the car was
was it. Having that Kenner car was a huge deal,
everything.
and I just getting a chance to see it when I went on my Universal trip as a kid. It was, and even then I looked at it and knew that this isn't exactly what was in the movie. I'm noticing changes that the this roof rack is not screen accurate, but I don't have any pictures of me with it because I just took the family's camera and just went around taking all the pictures with that Ecto. But that was always, having an Ecto has always been a dream of mine, and almost bought a '59 hearse back when I turned 16. But that the guy I was talking to, once he realized I was serious, the truth of the condition of the hearse started to come out. So I didn't wind up getting that, and I think my dad was very happy when that finally that bubble burst. I don't think I took into account exactly where you park a 20-something foot 59 hearse.
I don't have room for one. I don't have room for a hearse. Got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah. So it was glad that that didn't happen, but I know that I was very disappointed as a kid. But you mentioned, similar to me, you did not have cosplay experience before joining Circle City, really. But did you have any other experience as far as charities, or was there ways that you gave back before becoming a Ghostbuster?
I'm an Army vet, and before I was looking into donating money to one that supports veterans, and I started doing research into all the major ones, like seeing where all the finances were, like actually investigated where the money goes, and they just all were a fraud. Less than 50% of the money intake actually goes to help the people. So I never did. And so this really spoke to me because I wanted to give back in a sort of way. And so even if we're not collecting money, I think even us being in a parade, it brings smiles, it brings happiness. And I love seeing what the reaction the car gets that we get. Makes people happy in such a crazy world. Yeah.
And well, thank you for your service, first of all, on there. And you're right, it is, and I'm glad you did your due diligence to look, because it is amazing sometimes to see how much is siphoned off before it actually gets to where you're advertising that the money's going to go. And I know, we, at least, most of the folks, when I hear our group talking about what we do, we try and hammer home that every penny is going to the charities, going to Laura Beta or going to Lori's. It's something that I think it's easy for people to look at that and think that we're just trying to buy more proton packs or extra belt fobs, but that's an important thing, and I think it's great what you guys do, and so many of the Ghostbuster franchises, where everything that we're wearing is self-funded, and everything that we collect goes straight to those that need it. So I'm glad.
This stuff ain't cheap.
No, I'm glad the initial surge, I think, is over, but then you've got folks like GB fans that are redoing their elbow pads now, and it's like, oh, now I'm gonna add one more purchase I wasn't expecting in the near future on that.
There's always one more.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, now this thing is even more screen accurate. Oh, I gotta get that.
And what a great problem to have.
I know.
But
I know.
it is. I keep thinking I've finished it, and it never quite ends. As you look to 2025, and the answer couldn't be no. But are there any particular types of events or ways that you fundraise that you want to start, bringing into the fold, kind of in the future?
I do, and I'm actually in the minority in my group in this one. So I always loved Ghostbusters 2, and I just adored how it opened. They go and get paid to show up at a birthday party, and my whole life I have always wanted to do a birthday party as a Ghostbuster. And someone donated money in our name for us, so I get to go do a birthday party at the end of the
that's
month.
exciting.
So it's a 5-year-old's birthday party. It's like Ghostbusters themed. We're gonna buy him a gift, and Ghostbusters themed gift. And another about a month ago or so, we did a wedding.
Oh wow!
I made a donation, so I'm looking to expand more. Like, not necessarily huge events where we need 15 people showing up, but if I can get 3, 4, 5 people showing up to these different things, that could help bring in more of a donation stream.
Yeah, and I think those birthday parties too, they're great word of mouth travel amongst the parents and folks like that, and a guaranteed donation is a great thing there. So that's exciting, and looking forward to hearing how that goes. And the old cliche, hope nobody's chanting He-Man at any point while you're there. I've done one birthday party. James, have you ever worked a birthday party?
One.
It was. They had some really good pizza, and I was just too nervous to try and eat the pizza in my gear because I just didn't want to spill sauce on my uniform, which sounds silly. It's a jumpsuit that's designed to get dirty, but
dude, you don't want pizza sauce on it.
No, but that was one. I think the father was more excited than the kid when I went to it, and just talked Ghostbusters gear the entire time. But it was that's a fun experience. I'm looking forward to hearing how yours goes. I
hope we have the 2 in the box by then. Jeez.
Oh yeah. Well, they should start shipping tomorrow, Wednesday. We should start seeing shipping notices go out.
I hope, man.
But I built a trap, a Ben Kent trap earlier in the year. So, and it came out way better than I thought it would. And I added, some aluminum parts to it, and kind of I upgraded where I could with it, and that sort of scratched the itch, because I've always wanted a really great ghost trap. I missed out on Maddie, the Maddie collector stuff. I think it came out right as the kind of economy was collapsing, and I was in the mortgage industry, and I lost my job around the time all that came out. So I was not getting that. I missed out on that trap, and it always haunted me. So I made sure to get that 2 in the box back as soon as they announced it.
I was building one. I was building a trap myself out of the Walmart one that came out. And because COVID happened, it just sat in the box for 3 years, all the pieces, because I didn't know where to start, and I wanted to go to Nick's house, and I guess not 3 years, and then they just collected dust. And now that we're getting 2 in the box, another one of our guys, he likes to build stuff, so I was like, here, just have this stuff. I'm never going to build it.
That's kind of how I got my kit. Was somebody had a Ben Kent for a few years, and it was just sitting collecting dust, and they just threw the box on Facebook Marketplace or on one of the Ghostbuster groups. It was like $40 plus shipping. And I said, I'll jump on that. And,
that's pretty good.
And it was a good deal. Now, James, you've modded a Spirit or a Walmart trap, haven't you?
I have been in the process most of this year of upgrading one. Yeah.
It's a fun project, but there's always
it's a chore.
Always things to do. But getting my Ben Kent put together has really helped make this weight a little bit more bearable for the 2 in the box. But is there, you mentioned the birthday parties as something. Any other bucket lists, in your wildest fantasies, where you want to see Circle City go?
Yeah. I love what you guys do with the hospital, the children's hospital. I'm hoping to get into that game. With the cartoon coming out, I'm hoping we become more popular with kids, and we can go brighten some days. Jacob Bartlett, our current president, he's been talking with someone at Starlight to see if we could potentially deliver some of the Ghostbuster themed gowns there. So
that'd be awesome.
I'm hoping we can do that. Thankfully, to some very generous donations, we're pretty high on the list of receiving the top amount of donations towards the Starlight. So I'm really proud of our group for that.
Good job. And for those that are not familiar, the Starlight is making the Ghostbusters themed hospital gowns, correct?
That's right. They initially did the plane, and then this go around is slimed.
That's been a theme with new Ghostbusters merch lately, is adding that layer of slime. But that would be very exciting, and I hope that opportunity comes sooner rather than later. And something to keep in mind, because I know when they announced a little bit about that Ghostbusters cartoon, there were a few folks were bummed as they were hoping it was going to go more on the adult animated side of things. But it really is a great opportunity to, you, me, James, I'm sure the level of fandom we have is because we had that cartoon.
Absolutely, man.
Growing up, and that built us into, bridged us to we could watch the adult themed Ghostbusters and come to appreciate it more. So you bring up a really good point there, Sean. I think this is an opportunity for the fandom to really grow at a younger level, because I am surprised at the number of kids that know Ghostbusters these days, because it shouldn't be at the level you would imagine. I can't imagine it's at the level that it actually is. But
I think they should target between like ages 6 and 10, man. Like that's going to get them in their prime ages. I mean, even maybe a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Get them with the toys like we did.
Yeah,
and just, I mean, one of my earliest Halloweens I remember is a homemade proton pack. So that was my absolute first one.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it just grows beyond that. You got to build up the future, man.
And you don't need to. These aren't going to be. I don't foresee this being a dumbed down series. Real Ghostbusters was not dumbed down, as you can catch those episodes still today streaming somewhere, and it's I'll scratch my head at times and wonder what I was thinking as a little kid, because they're making references to things that I had no clue about at the time, and episodes
just
like
enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, that's a ghost, and that you're not thinking about Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol as they go through each of the different ghosts from that story. But it's that's exciting, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I hadn't really taken the time to reflect on just what that could mean for everything that we're all trying to do, as far as growing the opportunities to contribute back to the community. So that's very exciting there. And we're approaching the end of our hour here, and I wanted to make sure give you an opportunity. Is there anything else you want to share or plug as we kind of wrap things up here today?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, if you can help us donate toys for the Indianapolis Boys and Girls Club, we're going to have boxes at most Regals, if not all. We have 6 of them in the city. Look on our socials, our website, circlecityghostbusters.com. We can also accept donations, and then we'll take that money and go buy presents. They will be presents, toys.
Yes.
So we also take monetary donations through PayPal.
And all that information can be found on the Circle City social media accounts, Circle City Ghostbusters.com as well. So that's very exciting. And any particular toys, as far as age groups or styles that maybe are typically underrepresented that would be a help? Is that anything you've looked into? Because I remember hearing, our group was asking for some toys that are, for the the preteens or teenagers too, because they're often forgotten during these toy drives.
Yeah, that's from what I've seen. Is they request either the smaller kids or the bigger kids. Like I feel that the middle ages, probably 5 through 10, are pretty well represented.
Great. So that's something everyone should keep in mind. There are an abundance of ways to give back this season, and if you're watching this, we trust that you'll find a way to make sure that Ghostbusters is, whether it's Circle City or Windy City or local franchise near you, they are out there still trying to do some good. So look up your local franchise, see what they're doing this season, and find a way to contribute. And yeah, that's that kind of wraps up our show for the day. Sean, I really want to thank you, and
thank you for having me on.
And it's been exciting to talk with you, because I don't think I've had a chance to meet you in person.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I've met Jacob, but I haven't met you. So it's great to meet someone from our sister group over there in Indiana. And
you're always welcome down here.
I will. As with the little kids at home, it's a little harder to to be gone for as long. So there will be a day when I'll finally do things like making that trek out to the firehouse in New York.
Oh yeah, me too. I haven't been there either.
Perfect. And yeah, well, maybe we'll go together, Sean, we'll celebrate our 50th over at the firehouse.
I like it.
So just real quick, as far as the Windy City events, everyone, don't forget to tune in and see us at the Thanksgiving Day Parade. And we are, there she is.
Bad cat.
And we will also be at the St. Charles Electric Christmas Parade on November 30th. And please help us out at the Rocket Pro Wrestling Toy Drive on December 7th, and also at the Wonderburst Brunch on December 15th. We will be collecting donated toys for our toy drive benefiting La Rabida Children's Hospital. And if you can't make it to any of those, please go to Windy City Ghostbusters on all the socials. And do we have our Windy City Ghostbusters.com website, James? Where are we at on the
yeah, it just takes you to the link tree.
Perfect. So you'll find plenty of opportunities to donate with us there. And again, thank you everyone for tuning in. We will be back next week, and I'll have my special Thanksgiving drink. So we better have some folks contributing for hydrates next week, as I've been saving this beer for a little while. But thank you, everybody. It's been another week of Why We Bust, and we will see you next Monday.
Thank you all.
Bye.
You want out, don't you? Yeah. All right, fine. You can get out. You can leave.